Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Today is our first live of the day of the year, you
Indeed.
know, and uh, and Roberto Watanabe from FESP is with us today. Today he will start a new book. So new year, new book. The book is Heaven and Hell from Allan Kardec. So it's good to have you all here. Once again, thank you FESP, and thank you, Roberto, for being here with us and kick off in this series of lives we will have throughout the year.
Thank you, Stefan. Glad to be here with you all again.
Great, great. I hope everyone it's okay. Uh, we are not broadcasting on uh, spiritist
Kardec
our
ready?
Facebook in our Facebook because there is a technical issue with the our page, but we are live on YouTube and on Kardec Facebook, Kardec Radio Facebook as well. Okay, so um, today's topic is the future life of nothingness and nothingness. It is the first part of the book Heaven and Hell. As always, I'm keen to see how Roberto could summarize this long chapter. You know, but it's good to have you all here with us. And in order to start, let me do our initial prayer. So I'd like to ask everyone to sit comfortably, have a deep breath, and let's raise up our thoughts towards our mentors of Irish Spiritists Federation, FESP. Ask them to enlighten us, to enlighten the Spiritist movement in our countries, guide our speaker today, and may this prayer reach out to all the war zones around the world. May bring some kind of comfort to all victims of this war, as well as the soldiers, their families, and may this prayer reach out to the leaders in order to get back to balance and stop all these nonsense conflicts. Amen. Okay, Paty Oliveira, Happy New Year, Paty. Thank you. So, Roberto, it's my presentation is here. So it's with you, my friend.
Okay, thank you, Stefan. First of all, I would like to wish a Happy New Year to everybody. And this year, we are going to see the book from Kardec, the fourth book, which is Heaven and Hell, which was published in 1866. And we are going to see the first part where we have the theoretical, let's say, part of the book. And then the second part, there are many cases, actually are communications from discarnate spirits in various, many situations. So we are going to mix throughout the year the theoretical part and the practical part, let's say, which is the cases that we have there. So today we are going to see this issue here from the chapter one of a part of the first part, which is the future life in nothingness. And then we are going to advance to the second chapter also. And we are going to see a case from this part two, okay? Just to combine, let's say, theory and practice. So when we talk about future life and nothingness, the base for that is the uncertainty that many people have regarding the future life. What we know is that we all know that we live, we think, we act. That is certain because we are here, right? Alive on Earth. And also we know that someday in the future we will die. And so that is no less certain. But the question which arises here is, but when we die, where do we go when we leave this earth behind? Will we live forever, or will everything end once and for all? So that's the main question, and has a important consequence regarding the moral part of our life. In general, we all human beings, we have in ourselves the need to stay alive, to enjoy life, to love, and to be happy. And so that there is nothing more disheartening than the thought of complete and utter annihilation. The thought that after death, everything would end, right? So that's something that is difficult to us to accept, because in that case, our dearest affections, our intelligence, progress, all the accomplishment that we have done in this life would be lost. So something that we have a much effort to achieve, and then that would be lost. So that's something very unacceptable regarding our life. Uh, but there are some people that believe in nothingness, which are what we say the materialistic people, right? So in that case, when humans believe in nothingness, uh, they or we, when we think that way, we concentrate all our thought in this present life. So it means that in that case, not the idea of nothingness is a most powerful stimulus for selfishness, because if after we die everything ends, then let's live this life as much as we can, right? So disbeliever of the future life are consistent when they say, let us enjoy ourselves while we are here, because after we are not here anymore, everything will end. So in this case, their their thought is that happiness in this world is for those who are the cleverest. So let's enjoy this life, and because tomorrow will be uh, nothing, right? So this kind of a thought is a problem, huh? If there is an insensitive and antisocial doctrine, is surely this nihilism or materialistic thinking, because it breaks all the bonds, true bonds of solidarity and fraternity upon which social relationships are based. Because if I have only unselfish thinking, I will think just about myself. You have no care for the others, right? For our fellow beings. So that is the problem of this belief in nothingness. There is another idea which other people have regarding what will happen to us after we die. Is the idea of absorption into the universal whole. So this doctrine at least accepts the existence of an intelligent principle outside of a matter. So materialists don't even believe in soul, for example, in spirit, right? So everything for them is matter. This idea here admits the existence of intelligent principle, but according to such idea, Upon being born, each one of us assimilates a portion of the universal whole. Let's thinking about an universal intelligent principle. So by the time you are going to be born, we assimilate part of such an intelligent principle, and then we individualize, let's say, such intelligent principle in ourselves, and that is our soul. But that individualized soul will last only while we are alive here on Earth, because at, after death, our soul will return to that universal whole, to the common center, well, so that universal whole. And then we lose ourselves, our individuality, into the infinite universal whole, like a drop of water which falls from the clouds into the ocean. So such a doctrine also has the same consequence as materialism, because whether souls are immersed into nothingness or into a common reservoir, it amounts to the same thing. Everything will end after we die. So this is also an idea that can bring a problem, right, regarding our future. Um, why is that, right? Why we have materialistic people and also those people which believes in the idea of the absorption into of the soul into the universal whole? One reason is because of the skepticism about the religion, because religion, which talks about the soul, about the future life, about life after death, the religion in general don't do not explain in a rational way why it happens that way. So that's why skepticism, doubt, and indifference gain ground every day, because religion lacks in this age of positivism. Positivism is an age of where people want to understand, right? Where people want to have scientific proofs of what religion is defending here, right? So, and religion does not do that, right? So, and in this age of positivism, people want the sanction of the religious doctrines by demonstrable facts, right? In a kind of a scientific mindset. And that's why people in general, they want to know where they have come from and where they are going, huh? In this case, after death. But explained in a rational way and with proof, with demonstrable facts, right? So if we present them with a logical future worth of good, God's justice and goodness, then they would reject the materialism and pantheism, which is the case of our idea of the absorption into the universal whole. Right? If we don't do that, then we will keep their position on materialism and pantheism. So that's what is being presented here, right? So now Spiritism does that, right? So present the facts about our future life based on in a rational way and based on demonstrable facts. So that's why the Heaven and Hell book says that under such circumstances, it is under such circumstances of the materialism and pantheism that Spiritism has erected a barrier to the invasion of disbelief, because it brings demonstrable facts. What is such demonstrable facts? Is the communications that we have through the mediums from the spirits, right? Discarnate spirits. That's which are spirits which are living in the spiritual realm after death, right? So, such demonstrable facts have rendered the soul and the future life both visible and tangible, because by communicating with them, we, we can acknowledge about their conditions, right? So that's what spiritism does, and that's why spiritism contains within itself the logic of rationality and the sanction of proving facts. Right? So therefore, it will bring about a unity of beliefs concerning the future that will not be based on only on theories but on certainty. So that is, I would say, that is the main issue here in this book, right? Heaven and hell. And for that purpose, as we are talking about the demonstrable facts, let's see a practical case, right, from the second part of the book. This is a chapter of the second part, which is about earthly expiations. Uh, in this case, we have a spirit who, while he or she was here on earth, did not go well, right, in that incarnation, and then after that, uh, they 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 take they take knowledge about what they did, and then in the next incarnation they in some way will repair or correct, what they did in wrong, or what the good that they didn't do in the previous incarnation. So let's say here the case of Max the beggar, right? So is about a man which in the middle of the 19th century in Germany, in a Bavarian village in Germany, is this old man known as Father Max. He's died at nearly 100 years old, and he was a beggar in that region where he lived, and no one knew where he came from, because he had no family, and he had a infirmity, and he, stricken by such infirmity, he had lived at least the second part of his life through public charity. Right? So he used to sell some old magazines. Well, when people bought such magazines, those magazines, just to help him. Right? So that's why he lived it through public charity. But his physiognomy and manners contrasted with his rags, because although he was a beggar, he has a very, let's say, a noble manners, right? So, and many years after his death, he appeared on a dream. It's interesting here because normally we have a communication through mediums, but we also can have through dreams, right? And this such dream was from the daughter of the owner of one of the castle of that region. Was in the interior, right? So in the countryside of this region, and he appeared in a dream to that young woman, because he had been, while he was alive, he had been allowed to lodge in the stable of his father's castle, right? So, and after his death, such a young woman remembered him in her prayers. So he was very grateful to her, and that's why he appeared on her dream and decided to tell her who really he was, right? So that's the situation here. And then he reveals he had been in his previous life, before he was a beggar, right? So then he reveals that a century and a half before, or let's say by the end of the 17th century, by the beginning of the 17th century, he was the rich and powerful lord of that same region where he used to live, right, as a beggar. And as a rich and powerful lord for that region, he used all the fortune he had just to satisfy his pleasures. So his vassals at that time, in his previous incarnation, were exploited and mistreated just to provide for his extravagances. And because of the excess that he had, he died at a young age. But because of his position, uh, he was given a lavish funeral. Right? And the bon vivants of that time, his colleagues, um, mourned the loss of an extravagant lord, but not a tear was shed for at his tomb because he didn't anything to anybody. Right? So that's what situation, his incarnation before the situation of a beggar. So after he died, after that previous incarnation, when he died, then he talks about his sufferings in the spiritual realm, right? And his life between the two incarnations, the incarnation of a lord and the incarnation of a beggar, right? So in this middle, he suffered in the spiritual realm because his memory was cursed by all those whose misery he had contributed to while he was that rich lord. He didn't care for anybody. And the curses never ceased ringing in his ears throughout long years. And that long years seemed to him like an eternity. And finally, overcome by fatigue, he cried to God for mercy. And then he says, a voice tells him that he would must repent and humble himself before those whom he humiliated. And he does that, right? He did that while he was there in the spiritual realm, right? And after begging for the forgiveness of his servants, he felt like he was granted a new life. Desperation gave way to hope, he says, right? Then, so you in such situation, he had repented, right, of what he had done or what he didn't do, right, in his previous incarnation as a Lord. But then it's not enough just to repent. Right? We must repair our wrongs. So that's why in the next incarnation he comes as in a very difficult situation. So that's all the situation here. And then he says that a few years later he was there in the spiritual realm, and then a few years later he was born into a family of poor villagers, not 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 more as a lord, right? So in a rich family, and the problem is that besides he being born in a family of poor villages, his parents died while he was still a child. So he was alone with anybody to help in this world, right? And he made a living until the middle of his long life. He lived almost 100 years. He made a living as he could, as a farmhand or workman, until by the 50s, an illness at the age of 40, rendered him completely crippled. So then he started that life as a beggar, right? So he had to beg for more than 50 years in the same lands over which he had been the absolute Lord. So see the situation here. And but however, as he was conscious of what he had done in his previous life, no one complaint had ever escaped from his lip. He tells the young woman, right? Because he was aware of what he had done, and this situation here, which is a kind of expiation, he was aware that he would have to go through that, right? When then he said that when it pleased God to call him, or it means when death comes, he praised the Lord for having given him the courage to undergo such a long and painful trial. So that's the story here of Max, right? So where what we can see here is the what we used to say, well, in spiritism, the law of cause and effect, right? Everything that we do today of wrongs, of good that we don't do, and the opposite is correct also. No? All the wrong that we don't do and all the goodness that we do, good that we do, will have a consequence, good or bad. If such consequence does not happen this present year, it will happen in a future life. Right? So, in that was the case of Max de Berger here. So that's a very interesting case that I say case, but it's a actual situation, right? Of someone who lived in this situation here. So that is a practical example of all that we have seen about the nothingness and the future life, right? So of course there is a future life, right? And the consequences in our future life depends on what we do now, right, today. Now let's go to the second chapter of the first part of the book, which talks about the fear of death, right? Because most of us we fear death, right? But the belief in the future life, uh, although we have fear of death, many of us, we have intuitively in us the belief in the future life. And such belief is more widespread than the belief in nothingness. Because such intuition tell us that death is not the final phase of existence, and that those who lost we grieve or beloved ones, uh, they are not irretrievably lost, right? We will meet them someday in the future. But nevertheless, we have a fear of death, even if we believe in the future life. Why is that, right? How can we explain that one still finds a great attachment to earthly things and at the same time has a huge fear of death? So such fear is an effect of the wisdom of providence and a consequence of the self-preservation instinct. Here we must remember of one of the laws that we saw last year when studying the Spirit book, which was the law of conservation, right? So we have such a self-preservation instinct. It's natural in us, right? Because, and then fear acts as a counterweight uh, to the tendency, Spiritism says, right? To the tendency to prematurely live our life. It means, for example, a suicide situation, right? And then we neglect the earthly labor that we must accomplish while we are here. So self-preservation is something natural, right? So, and is a effect of the wisdom of providence. And that's explain why we have fear of death, even by believing in the future life. There is another cause for remaining attached to the earthly things, and then here we have a kind of a criticism about the religion, because the picture that the religion has sketched to us about our future is something that is not rationally presented to us, right? Because on one hand, there are for those who goes to hell, like the religion says, there are the contortions of the damned in eternal torture and flame, paying for the errors of a momentary life. So that's something that kind of a horror, a horrific situation, right? On the other hand, there are souls languishing in a purgatory life as they await their deliverance from that situation through the prayers of the living. Someone who uh, is here on earth praying for them to deliver them from the purgatory, right? So that's another situation. And just the third situation would be something good, right? Uh, those who are in a class of the elect, right? So enjoying contemplative beatitude for all eternity. So all these three situations here interposes, Spiritism says, between the dead and the living, a distance that leads us to regard the separation as eternal. Because if I am a bad person, then I will go to hell and will stay there by the eternity, right? If I am a good person, I will go to heaven for the eternity. And then, if let's say a very parent or a friend that I like very much, if he or she goes in a different level, let's say to purgatory or to hell, then we will never see them again, right? So that's the idea of the separation, thinking the separation as eternal. So that's something that also caused people to attach to earthly things, right? So that and this is something that is not cannot be rationally explained. So then people um, decides to choose materialism or pantheism, right, rather than believe in such a situation here. So uh, to the degree that the humans better comprehend the future life, then the fear of death decreases, because certainty about the future life gives us another course for our thoughts and another aim for our labors. Because if there is a future life for us, then what we think today, what we do today, will have a consequence in the future. So in that case, I will think better on what I'm thinking or doing now. So that's what's being said here. And also the confidence of meeting our loved ones again after death give us the patience to endure the transitory hardship of earthly life. So things change completely, right? When we think, when we believe in the future life, and we better comprehend the future life, because in that case we 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 believe in the future life, and we don't have fear of death. That's what's being said here. And then that is the case of the spiritists, right? Why the spiritists do not fear death? Because the spiritist doctrine completely transforms the way we envisages our future. The veil has been lifted, and the spirit world has appeared to us in the fullness of this practical reality. For example, we just have seen the case of Max the beggar, right? So this is he explained to us what was his life while he was on the spiritual realm, what was his life before that he was in the spiritual realm, and what was his life after the spiritual realm, living as a beggar, right? So that means the veil that is has been lifted, and we can see the situation of the spirits in the spiritual realm. Right? We can see its inhabitants, which means the discarnate spirits, in every phase of happiness and unhappiness. Right? In the case of Max, while he was there on the spiritual realm, he was unhappy, right? Because he was a very selfish person in his life before. But now, after the situation of a beggar, that's important also to have in mind, right? After this, he repaired his previous situation after the life as a beggar. Then now he is happy in the spiritual realm, right? So, and that's what the spiritism show to us, right? So we can see the inhabitants of the spiritual realm in all situations of a life beyond the grave. Uh, and we see that in the second part of the Heaven Hell book, right? There are happy spirits, there are medium spirits, there are suffering spirits, there are expiating spirits, like the case of Max. So we can see what is the life beyond the grave. So that's important to us, because we are seeing actually our future, right? So depending what we do here now. Huh? So that's why spiritists view death so calmly, and why they are so serene during their last moments on earth, because they know, or we know, and we spirits know, that the future life is a certainty to us. And if we did it, at least tried right, to do things right in this life, our future will be good. So that's why we can hope our moment of death with calm, right? So if we have something that we didn't do of good or we did many wrongs, then such calmness would not come, right, at the moment of death. Uh, so spiritists know that the future life is but a continuation of earthly life, only under better conditions. It means better conditions depending on what we did here while we are here, right? So that's what is being studied here in this chapter. So fear of death, while what are the reasons for that, and why spiritists in general do not fear death. So, for spiritists, for ourselves as spiritists, the soul is not an abstraction, right? It's something concrete. Actually, is the essence of ourselves, is our soul, is our spirit. We as a spirit. And we know that we have an ethereal body, which makes us a defined being, uh, which means that while we are here on earth, we have this physical body, the carnal body, and we have a kind of a intermediate body, right, between us as a spirit and our physical body, which is our ethereal body, or our spiritual body, or our perispirit. They are all the same, right? When after we die, we leave here on earth our physical body, and we go to the spiritual realm with our spiritual body, with our perispirit. And that is what makes us a defined being there on the spiritual realm. Right? So that's what's being said here. It means that we have a body here and we have a body there. The only difference is that here is physical, there is ethereal. Right? And the memory of those who are dear to us rests upon something real, and they are all around us. So what's being said here is that those are the loved ones that went before that let's say crossed the line of death before us, and they are around us. They are there on the spiritual realm, spiritual world, and they can contact us, right? So they can help us. We can in our prayers remember of them. Remember that young woman, right? So she remember of Max in her prayers, and then he came, right, with the sense of gratitude for her. So we can have this contact with them. That's what's being said here. Huh? And the corporeal because the corporeal and the spirit world are in constant relationship, and they provide mutual assistance to each other, right? Because, for example, by praying for loved ones that died, then we can give a mutual assistance to him or her to go through this transition to a new life, right, in the spiritual realm. And by the other hand, when we have some problems here in our earthly life, um, let's say my grandparent or grandmother can help us, right, to go through the obstacles, the difficulties we are having here in our life. So that means the mutual assistance to each other. And also, since the doubt about the future is no longer feasible, then the fear of death disappears. So it means that we, as a spiritist, we have a clear consciousness of life is not only this physical life, right? It's physical life, and then after that we have the spiritual life, then again physical life, spiritual life, and over again. So until we get to the situation of the pure spirit, right? That we saw in last year. So that is all the situation here. So you see that this book, Heaven and Hell, bring us very important information about the reality of our life, and make us conscious of what we should do today in this life now, right? In order to get a better situation in the future life, which is the future in the spiritual dimension after we die. So that's what these two chapters of Heaven and Hell bring us today. Uh, Next month, we will see the situation of those discarnate spirits which are in a happy situation in the spiritual world. Of course, because they did a lot of good here, right? While he was incarnate here. And so related to that, we will see the topic of the next presentation will be heaven, right? Because we have heaven, hell, and purgatory, right? So we will be studying the next 3 months, heaven, then hell, and then purgatory. So always I will bring it to you some practical cases, right, regarding these three situations. So that's what we have for today. Esteban?
Wonderful, my friends. Thank you. Thank you. So here's the bibliography.
Yeah,
Yeah, let me see. We don't have any. So far, no questions, but it is good to comment that uh, heaven and hell. Everybody ask like, oh, about the hell, about the lower zones. No, like the movie No Solar. I think did a great job in terms of representing the lower zones. But the real hell, the real lower zone, it is it is our conscious.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So it's up to us to decide how do you want your hell, how do you want your lower zone. It's
Yeah,
everything is in our conscious. Is our conscious point the fingers to you how to avoid it? Let's say watch and pray.
yeah, exactly.
Watch and pray. you
Yeah,
know do to the others what you want they do to yourself.
mm,
That's the only way, because when we return to the spiritual world, we will have plenty of time to keep
reflect.
reflecting what we have done, what we could done, what we
Yeah,
could do better. Where and all these come up in that moment, and then we start to create some uh, 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 mindset, and
mm,
this mindset for some people takes straight to the
mm,
hell.
mm,
And this is what Kardec saying in the book.
mm,
you know so it's up to us to decide what you want. Don't
yeah.
blame anybody. Don't blame any guy, especially the guy upstairs in
Yeah,
the heaven.
yeah,
we like to blame him. Oh, he doesn't like me. He did something from now.
yeah.
He
I
he
think it.
he
Yeah,
has more important things to do than
yeah,
watch
yeah,
everyone's single life and say, "Hey, she didn't brush her teeth today. I will punish her."
yeah. I think a very good, a very important thing that knowledge that the spirit in the bring us is to know how what will be the consequences of what we do now, right, in this life. Because imagine if it's someone, for example, you mentioned the war, right? Who is going through our world today.
Hmm.
If the person who promote a war would know what expect him in the future, he would think thousand times before promoting the word, right? Because in his consciousness, these acts that he's doing now will have a very, unfortunately, very bad consequences for himself.
Hmm.
Right? So
Hmm.
if he were aware of that, if we were aware of all our actions, then we would think better, right, on those actions. And so that is what something that spirit bring to us. And I would say that in no other belief it brings us that um, knowledge, right? So as we said here in the book, by demonstrable facts, right? Which is the case of Max, for example, the beggar, right? Why he was a beggar, right? That- You imagine that that beggar here in that countryside there, he was the lord of all that region. He was the owner of all the castles, all that lands there. Now, because of the way he lived in that previous life, he went after that as a beggar. So this is something that will make us think, right? Regarding what we do now. It's not thinking about the future is not, well, what will be my future life. No, the main point is all of this is to 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 lead us to reflect not after we die, but to reflect now, right,
Yeah.
regarding our actions.
Yeah, exactly. Why why you need to come back again and next time reincarnation to fix something you already know
Mm,
you have an issue you have,
mm,
like if you have a problem with selfish,
mm,
do you need another reincarnation to fix that problem?
mm.
I'm saying just one incarnation. Sometimes it's several reincarnations
Yeah,
you need
yeah,
to fix that
yeah,
problem. But
yeah,
if you know you have the problem, why do not start fixing now? It's
yeah,
not it's not because you want to fix it and you fix this incarnation.
yeah,
Some people can do it, happy
yeah,
days,
yeah.
but it's a process. Why
Mm,
do not start the process today? I
yeah,
always I always have this in my mind. My next reincarnation
mm,
starts today.
yeah, exactly.
So today I'm building up my next reincarnation.
Yeah. Yeah, because what you are raising is interesting because the person can also think, Stephen, well, if I have a future life, if I have many reincarnations in the future, let's enjoy my life today.
Hmm.
After that, I fixed that, right? So that's not a good way of thinking, right? So, but
Yeah.
some critics of the reincarnation idea point uh, put this point, right? But that's not a intelligent way of thinking.
No, no,
Uh,
no. And also, Gianni Brito saying here, good afternoon. This is unique, or no, Gianni, we will have in our channel. It is every Tuesday and every Thursday, but in the FASP channel, it's once per month.
mm.
So next month, Roberto will be here with the second chapter, and so on until the end of the year.
Yeah, it's to be
So
on the 20th of February.
20th of February. So
Yeah,
he already gave the date. 20th of February, he'll be here with us.
yeah.
Uh,
Party has a question also.
but let me see. Our future will reflect our actions now, right?
Mm.
Uh, yeah, Patty. I would say our future it is a reflection of our present actions, not
Yeah,
past actions. Our present actions.
yeah,
Okay, so our future is composed by what I'm doing today,
yeah.
what I am today. And today, that's why it calls present. In Portuguese, presente. is a gift. Today is a gift. Today is the day you can start to think. Today is the day you can change yourself. Today is the day you can do everything you want to,
Yeah.
but you need to start.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Okay, so let me see. Our time is kind of up here. So also we have a friend
Juan.
from no, it's Juan. Juan probably
Mm.
he's from a Spanish country. He
Mm.
speaks Spanish. So Juan, gracias Juan.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Spiritism teaches a lot of things, and luck us who are luck because we know, and bad because we don't know. You cannot say I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that is that is a message. I don't know. Perhaps you know, Roberto, from Raul Teixeira. He
Mm.
used to say, "Spiritism is for those who can handle it."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you
Is
need to handle it
yeah.
because you don't have excuse to say, "Oh, I didn't know." No, okay, you didn't know. Let's do again. Let's put a more
Yeah.
things. Let's make it a little bit easier for you. But now you know. You know
Yeah. The more we know, the more responsibility we have.
exactly, exactly.
But
Okay,
was
my
right.
friend.
Okay.
Say it again.
No, I would say Juan is right. Being good is this is all that the Spiritism taught us, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Tell us to do.
exactly. Okay.
Okay.
So Lou VM is with us. Lou, thank you for being here. And my friend, do you mind to do our final prayer?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you, everybody, to be here with us today. And let's go to our final prayer. Thanking to all the spiritual benefactors by all the support they give us on our work in the spiritual uh, working about the spiritism. And let's thank Jesus for the support also he gave us through these gospels he brought us 2000 years ago. And most of all, let's thank God for the gift of this present life that we have, where we can build a better future for all of us. So be it.
Amen. Amen. Okay. Um, so for those who are following us on our YouTube channel, in 20 minutes at 8:30, we will have our virtual healing. I invite everyone to watch and stay with us. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, no longer than this. Uh, our healing team is doing a great job, either on virtually or on in-person meetings. So thank you, everyone. Uh, Also, for those who are in Dublin, uh, this Sunday we will not have in-person meeting. Our in-person meeting it is next Sunday. So I'm waiting for you there, and they're waiting for you, my friend, on the 20th of February.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Cheers. Bye, bye,
Bye.
my friends. Thank you.
Bye.